Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh. Yeah, but mine like flops over. Maybe I'll do it this way. Oh, there we go. Did Josh click go? I'm just making sure the video's going. It started. Thank you. Okay, welcome everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, before we get started, if you guys would like to join me in prayer, we'll do that. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for blessing us with a frigid, gloomy day. It makes us appreciate the Ohio sunshine so much more. I thank you for this congregation, their endless and generous support to all of our mission teams, our fundraisers, and I thank you for bringing them into this space so that they can learn more about our trip. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So my mom and I are going to be talking about our trip to the Hakima Girls Secondary School. Yeah, fun fact, if you guys didn't know, this is my mother.
Mom.
I think you guys would know that, but just in case, this is my mom. Her name's some people also refer to her as Mary.
Or Stella's mom.
But yeah, so we went to the Hakima Girls School. We were there for pretty much a whole day. Just to give a little bit of a recap, though, this is the Kashasha School, primary school, where the girls that attend Hakima are coming from. So this is, yes, the school they're going to. These are their classrooms. So if you weren't here last week. And then we did want to give a recap, or I guess a clarification on the Hiltner Center, which is the computer lab and library. That was actually sponsored or fundraised by Moshe's dad's trust fund. So when Moshe's dad passed away, there was a trust fund that went into renovating and fixing that building up. It was named the Hiltner Center because of the family's long-term dedication to helping the efforts in Tanzania. So just to give a recap. This is a few pictures, and we'll see more throughout the slideshow, of what Hakima Girls School looks like. So when we pulled up, this is where the girls were playing, which I'll show videos and stuff. But these are actually dorm room spaces. They're not used for where the girls stay, but they have, the way their school system works, they have they go to school for a few months and then they'll have 2 weeks off and then they'll go to school 2 weeks off. So those 2 weeks, if families are traveling from a far distance and it's maybe not financially available for them to come pick their kids up, go back to their hometown for them to stay, families can actually stay at the school. And this is where they would stay if they have guests that are coming. So if they have people who are coming to help teach some classes to the girls, this would also be where they would stay. So there's 2 beds, a bathroom, and then they have a common kitchen area, which is where the picture was taken from. So, and then you can see their laundry hanging up over there. So a little bit of background on how St. Mark's got involved in the Hakima Girls School. So I reached out to Wellington to get a little bit of a story. So I am reiterating Wellington's story that he gave me to you. He said that it was a Saturday morning Bible study in 2004. The title of it was Experiencing God. So in their discussion, they got on the topic of Wellington's childhood, where he came from, where he grew up, where he went to school. And he was talking about his grandmother and her brothers got to go to school, but their sisters didn't get to go to school. A lot of them didn't even know how to read or write, but the males in their family got to go on and have an education. So building on that, it is, I would say, normal in their country that families save up for the men in the family to go to school, but there's typically not enough money for them to save up for the daughters to go to school. So in this discussion, some of the members in this Bible study were like, what can we do to help these girls get an education? So they started doing research, and they came across the Hakima Girls School, which is a parochial school ran by sisters and nuns. So the reason why they picked this school to start doing fundraising for girls to be able to go to was that they were very involved and heavy in empowering women to be successful in their careers, having a career, and a strong faith life as well. So I think they looked at quite a few other schools, but felt called to this one. So it originally started off with in their testing, the top 5 girls that tested got a scholarship to go to the Hakima Girls School. And that has changed a little bit since then. But how they're sponsored today. So the Kashasha school goes up till 7th grade. The girls have an opportunity to take a 4-week crash course that prepares the girls, I would say maybe better than what Kashasha did, for them to sit for the is it a national exam? National exam, for them to get in and qualify for Hikima Girls School. So in this picture, you can see that there's girls in different skirts. The girls in the teal skirts are girls who are already enrolled at Hakima Girls School. The girls in the like royal blue are girls who are from Kashasha, and are either in their 4-week crash course, they've taken a test, or just getting ready and preparing for getting to Hakima. So those girls are not actively enrolled in the school yet. Now girls are sponsored based on the funding that is available. So when we do get funding and we sponsor a girl, what St. Mark's and Hakima and the people who donate like to make sure that there is enough money that if that girl goes for 1 year, there's enough money funded for her to go the entire time so that she can graduate and follow through on that. So that we're just not funding 1 year and then has to find the funding for her three more years after that. So once they pass that exam, they're enrolled in Hakima. And then there is a lot of flexibility on how many students we sponsor, based on who has passed and based on funds available. But that would be all scholarship.
Okay, I think I'm up. So just a little bit of information about Hakima. We went and I looked this up. It was Monday. After our 3-hour church service on Sunday. Don't get any ideas, Pastor Ken.
No, because she said Pastor
Ken. Yeah.
I just want to say, ouch.
Oh, shoot. So it was about an hour and 45 minutes from Moja and Wellington's house over to where the Hakima Girls School is located. The school was organized by, like Stella said, sisters back in 1988. And it's an all girls boarding school that has both Lutherans, Muslims, Protestant. Yeah, right. So it's a good group of girls that attend this school. Like I said, it's a boarding school. They are there for about 2 years. The cost for one girl to attend is $1,000 US dollars in that. So St. Mark's, thank you to all of us that we have an average sponsor about 20 girls a year. So that is huge with a school that has over, I think, about 400 girls that attend. And we've been sponsoring girls for 20 years. I had no idea we've been sponsoring and having this relationship with Hakima for that long. And our next steps, again, we'll discuss at the end of the presentation, but it's just to continue that relationship with Hakima to continue sponsoring those girls. They really emphasize on practical skills, empowering women. Um, and again, I may be jumping ahead, but how to manage a family, how to manage a household, um, just that spiritual growth, economical growth. So I guess that's it. We can continue with some of the other items.
And girls who come from Kashasha, their success rate is pretty high with their graduation from Hakima. There's sometimes on a rare occasion that girls will have to repeat a grade while they're at Hakima, but the success rate of them graduating is Wellington said at like 99%. That I think they've had maybe one girl not follow through in graduating, but very rarely do they see girls not succeed when they come from Kashasha to Hakima. So going into how we were welcomed, this video is in a perspective from a car, and there is a band of students who welcomed us. So hopefully.
I believe that's Moshe's arm. But again, you just see their smiles on their faces, excited to see us, welcoming us. Yeah.
Yeah, this was not all of the girls. There was a few that were taking. Oh, I guess I need to be talking into this. There was a few that were taking one of their standardized tests to graduate from Hakima. So we'll get into this, but when they're at Hakima in their last year there, they take another test to be able to move on to further education. So some of the girls were there. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do yet. You want to talk about this?
Oh, is this our next slide?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. So this is where the speech got everybody. I believe Moja even shed a tear. But but we were obviously welcomed by the band. So when we arrived there, we had chairs on the porch, and they separated the girls that we sponsor into a group, and now I'm going to get choked up. Then we've got a speech from the girls. Speaks very well in English. Mm-hmm. Where they leave Kashasha, there may have some English skills speaking, but that is one of the classes that they take in Hakima is English. So she read a speech to us, to all of us, just thanking us about our generosity, the um, the importance of what our sponsorships mean to them, because if we were not sponsoring them, obviously they would not be here. They would be doing whatever, getting married at the age of 13. So our sponsorships are giving them that opportunity to really grow in their spiritual growth, as well as just growing and being a woman. So I think we've got the speech. She's about, what, 7 minutes?
Yeah, it's 7 minutes. And there's
I think
subtitles.
subtitles.
Yeah, there's subtitles in the video. So I know it's a little lengthy, but it's very powerful.
Yes.
Oh.
Mistress, Honorable Sister Esther Bubero, Honorable Pastor Robin Small, Honorable Parish Administrator Mr. Mike, Honorable Deacon Tim, Honorable Mr. Wellington Kamara, and our esteemed sponsors, honorable staff members, dear our beloved present at this gathering. We are very delighted to welcome our sponsors here at our school, Hekima. With gratitude, we give glory to the Almighty God for this protection over all of us that we meet in person today. Some of our faces may not be familiar with you, but our names have remained in our hearts for many years. It is a pleasure to see and meet you today. Our dear and well-regarded sponsors, we have been waiting for this beautiful, glorious moment in our life, and our faithful Almighty God has responded to our wish. In front of you is a group of your scholarship recipients at Hekima. Proudly, we thank you for paying us a visit, and more so for your committed contribution and support to our treasured education. Your support has not only opened the doors of success, but has also shone the light of hope on our faces. Every time we count our steps, we discover the transformation within us that has occurred since we joined Hekima. Our parents testify to our academic, human, and spiritual growth. And because we hear it a lot, we believe we have attained those qualities you intended for us. We thank you very much for uplifting us, our families, and the Kashosha village. Else, some of us could have ended at the primary school level and probably lived rich lives. Academically, we are trying tirelessly to meet the school's expectations. Although our learning ability differs, something we all have in common is the commitment to excellence. We are so proud of the English speaking program in the school, which has pushed us beyond our horizon to learn the English by all means and speak it. We never knew we could read, understand, write, and speak English, since it was regarded the language of cream of the crop, and we were not even close. Your support has introduced us to English-speaking communities, therefore expanding our scope of learning and exposure to the world. We all treasure experiential learning for its ability to impart solid and practical education to learners. Dear sponsors, thank you for saving us at Hekima. Apart from acquiring the basic knowledge by the virtue of the curriculum, we have gained so many skills such as sewing clothes of various designs, making doormats, blooms, cooking varieties of food for different groups of people, farming and livestock keeping. These skills are important and necessary for self-employment in future to better ourselves, our families, our village, then, and ultimately the nation at large. We truly consider you the roots and foundation of our prosperous future. One of the qualities of an educated person is self-confidence. Hekima has cultivated confidence within us through many practices such as debating sessions, morning speeches every Friday, and leadership opportunities. We came to Hekima is insubstantial, but through all these, we are firm and strong enough to liberate ourselves, our society, be it in Kashasha or elsewhere. Their confidence and commitment with us instigate us all to reach our academic and human potential. In accord, we promise that your financial support shall never be in vain. In a special way, we congratulate Mr. Willington on your retirement, but equally important, thank you a million times for your determination to develop our beloved small village Kashash through education. Apparent, your selfless hearts has done wonders for us. We always wonder how our sponsors could learn our financial struggles and needs without you chipping in. We hail you, our unforgettable commander, and promise to follow in your footsteps. Long live Mr. Wellington and your family. Long live our treasurable sponsors. All in all, we appreciate you gently for supporting us continuously despite the challenges facing this mission. You still stand for our better future. Thank you. We assure you of our fruitful academic journey. May your prayers sustain our self-awareness, hard work, and academic excellence. Dear our cherished and valued sponsors, many thanks for paying us a visit today. This is a strong sign of a more powerful collaboration after Mr. Wellington's retirement. You now know our village, our people, our school, and most important, our future plans. May the Almighty God shower upon you the blessings and graces in return to your goodness. May you continue supporting our education so we can reach our goals. Thanks. The speech has been prepared and read to you by your scholarship recipients at Hekima Girls Secondary School 2024.
All right, we're done. Yeah, kind of powerful stuff that we're doing to help those girls. So it they're thousands of miles away on the other side of the globe, but St. Mark's is definitely in their heart. So I am so blessed to been able to meet these girls. Anyways, so then after that powerful speech that we had, we were able to sit down and talk with the girls and ask them. Actually, I believe Amy asked the question, what's their future plans? What do you want to do? So each girl stood up, told us their names and what their future goals are. One wants to be a chef, one wants to be a pilot, one wants to be an accountant. Many want to be engineers. I believe there was a lawyer, and a lot want to be doctors and nurses. They could not have that opportunity without us. So they're just extremely grateful. So then down here, we met again with the sisters and the teachers. And actually, I don't know if you can see her dancing in one of our other videos. But there's a teacher that was actually from Kashasha, went through the Hakima Girls School, became a teacher, and now she is teaching at Hakima. And that is what Wellington mission is. That's why they moved back to Africa, is that he knows that he has been blessed by our good Lord, that all the riches that he has, he is going and move to his home village or his family home village, so he can give back. So that is basically what the teacher had said as well, is that I was given the opportunity to do this, and I want to give back to my community. So
Yeah, and building off that,
yeah.
I think it's also really important too that the girls are seeing firsthand what their education at Hakima can do, having a teacher who has graduated from Hakima and then is coming back. So I think that that's really empowering for the girls to see that there can be success outside of here.
Now,
Yes.
when would they go on to college then if they want to be an engineer or doctor? Did they tell you that?
Great question. In like 2 slides, I'll answer your question. Thank you, though. Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen some of the crosses that the sister is holding on to. I believe some of the crosses are in the church office. But Jeff and his ability to make these beautiful crosses, my understanding is you had all these scraps. And the good Lord placed on your heart and mind to make crosses with different colors. Each color is a different meaning, to give to us and present to the Hakima Girls School and also the church in Kashasha. So this is just a picture of our lovely Pastor Robin and Sister. Yeah. Giving her the cross as well as a description of the cross and what the colors mean in both English and Swahili.
Mm-hmm. And the room we're standing in for this picture is a kitchen, and they had prepared snacks and stuff for us. And something that was really cool and meaningful is that the girls who take cooking classes actually prepared all of our food that day. So just an example of some of the good works that they're learning there. It was actually one slide, Norm. So this is kind of an outline of their school system because it does not follow the American school system. So primary school, which is going to be kindergarten through 7th grade, is their education at Kashasha. And actually at Kashasha, they offer a pre-K program as well. After that, they moved to secondary school, which is Hakima. So this typically 4 years. It includes junior high and high school, to my understanding, and correct me if that's not correct. And then they move to what's called a Forum A and Forum B. So after Hakima, when they take that test, like I talked about, if they pass that and they have a high enough score on that, they can move on to these forums. They're typically 2 years, and these are actually government funded. So this is where they do more preparation for university. So this is where they would typically go, and then they would earn a degree. So they have a few more steps after Hakima to be able to reach that. But I think knowing too that their next steps are government funded is helpful for them. So does that answer questions about that?
This is just some of the classroom that we got to tour. The building there is what's called their lecture hall. The middle picture is what it looks like inside. As you can kind of tell the difference between a Kashasha schoolroom versus a Hakima school. Much different scenario there. But again, they learn your basic classes, math. I think this is science of the evolution. English, obviously, and then they also have, here's some more. look at those desks. Those are very nice desks compared to what we saw last week with Mike and Amy's presentation. But just to kind of give you an idea, and I believe this was one of the rooms that they were studying for their test. To your left, obviously you're going to have your library, which I think is very impressive. They have a section for English books as well. And Moja and Wellington is really sponsoring and developing, creating a space in that Hiltner Center for a library just like this. And I think she's worked with Maumee Valley Country Day School, BG maybe, to donate some of the books for their library. They have a computer lab, and I believe Stella and I thought they had over 40 computers. So they do have the ability to be on the computers.
And so they also learn a lot of outside or skills outside the classroom. So one of those is learning how to sew, which I don't know about you guys, but these sewing machines are what we use as decoration in our house.
Antiques.
Yes, I grew up with having one of these without the sewing machine attached to the top in my household. So the sewing machines that they're learning on, right, is old to us, antique to us, but those are very well functioning, and they had, I would say, about 10 of those sewing machines in a room where they can learn the skills to sew and create their own outfits, whatever that is that they're learning. They also have a space that's, I feel like you watch like the cooking shows, like the Greatest Baking Show or Food Network, and there's a bunch of stations where you can learn how to cook. We didn't get a picture of it, but it's a space like that where they can learn how to cook. So there's like 8 different stoves. They have sinks, they have the tables, and that's another one of their skills that they can learn for outside of the classroom. In the middle here is one of their many garden spaces. So they grow a lot of their own food, and then that's what they eat at their school. So the girls are in yellow dresses, which this is their working color or their working dress. So you saw in one of the first pictures that they had the blue teal skirts on with the white shirts. That's what they wear to class, and what they learn in. After they are done with school for the day, they change clothes into the color of whatever they're working on. So these girls are gardening or working, and so they are going to be in yellow dresses. But there is a variety of plants that they grow: beans, corn, tomatoes. They even have guys that are on this gravel road into the school that have slingshots to get the monkeys away from. We have scarecrows to get birds and rabbits, and they have people getting monkeys away. And then this picture is just another one of their garden space. We have Amy went to go take this picture of this girl, and she goes, "Wait," and then does a sassy little pose. So we felt that we needed to share this picture of the girl purposely posing for us. We didn't get a great picture of the corn. It's a close-up one, but the whole field in general. So last week, Amy and Mike talked about in Kashasha how the corn's just kind of thrown and it's sporadically growing on their properties. You see a corn stalk over here, and then you'll see one over here. There's no rhyme or reason to their planting. However, at Hakima, there is. At a much smaller scale than what our cornfields look like in Ohio. Very similar, though, with the row planting. The spacing between each corn row plant. Stalk, thank you. And then the rows. So one of the teachers that we actually got to talk to was one of their biology environmental teachers, and he teaches them how to plant properly. So this, I think, is just an example too of the skills that they maybe have or didn't have in Kashasha, and then coming to Hakima, they're learning how to properly grow. And then the different ways that you can utilize the plants that you are growing. So an example, that Moja shared with us is that they have an avocado, because they're, how cool is that? Avocados just grow in their backyard back there. I wish. So they'll cut it and eat the avocado as is, where we probably have a variety of ways that we eat an avocado, right? Like, we know we can make it into guacamole, you can make it into some sort of sauce, or right, there's so many different ways that we can utilize it. And I think that's just another example of educating them on how they could use their resources maybe a little bit further beyond opening up an avocado and eating it. So that's one of the things that professor really kind of teaches. Again, this is the best we could do with the corn, but that's a space for all of their fields. And then in this picture, one, it's a cool picture. And then two, these are actually pineapple plants. And even the pineapple rows, you can see, have a rhyme or reason to the way that they are planted. So they grow a bunch of their own fruits and vegetables as well. So it was cool to see a pineapple plant.
Well, and I'll interrupt here too, but so Moshe keeps us updated on what's going on in the village over at Kashasha. And it's amazing we left in November, and it's amazing of what they have accomplished so far. So the girls at Kashasha has no idea really about farming. So they have decided to build a greenhouse in Kashasha on the property of where the school is at. So they now have a greenhouse and showing the girls and the boys proper way of how you can start seedlings and how you can transplant and how you can make corn into rows. So it's just amazing of how it is transforming since we've been gone in since November.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay. This video, I think, is just fun. It's 12 minutes long. I'm not showing you the entire video, but this first part is going to be the first part of these girls dancing, and they are preparing for their graduation ceremony. So this is a dance that they choreographed and prepared for themselves. So I hope that you enjoy this.
And you can dance if you want to.
Yeah. We did. And this, and this is actually the cafeteria where they eat all their meals at. Yeah. Good.
Come on, dancing.
Oh, there goes Amy. Oh, there goes Stella.
I cut it off. You guys don't get to see us dancing.
I think
He was supervising. Oh, I want to pause this one. Okay, this is the last part. The last part of it. And the girls got up like 2 by 2, which you'll see. I think it's really cool. So their teachers that were there get up and start dancing. And we had a few special guests, so stay tuned.
the one teacher that's out there now is the one that's from Kashasha Village. Yeah. I didn't know Wellington could dance like that. So I know pictures and videos probably don't give it justice with actually physically being there, but hopefully we were able to, share some videos and pictures that are near and dear to our hearts.
And they made their skirts in that dance. Oh, they made those grass skirts.
Yeah.
So just some success stories that, well, actually, I think we should have done the alumni on the other slide, but Moja's going to start an alumni program with the girls. So just to have that continuous collaboration between the girls that have moved on to become doctors, lawyers, pilots, and be mentors to that group of students that are just starting out at Hakima. Like I said, some have gone on to be doctors and lawyers. We were supposed to meet a doctor and we never got hooked up. That was graduated from Hakima, was one of our sponsored girls that we sponsored, and we just couldn't get connected to meet with her. But did you guys have anything to add on that? No. And then I think Stella heard this story from Wellington.
So one of the days we went into Bacoba, which is about an hour away, which is like the big city where we were at, and Wellington did not come with us, and he stayed back at the house. And when we came back, he said that a father of one of the girls who's from Kashasha and now attends Hakima came over to thank Wellington for the generous support, the sponsorship, because he said that his crops or the farming that he had didn't do well this past year, and he would have had no way to afford to send his daughter to school. So he made it a point to come over to Wellington's house and thank him personally for helping this connection and sponsoring his daughter, the guy's daughter, to be able to go to school. So in some of our next steps and looking to the future, I think our number one thing is continuing to sponsor girls. There is a fund where you can members of the church, friends, family, whoever can donate, and then Wellington ensures that the girls are actually enrolled in Hakima, and then St. Mark's writes the check to be able to send those girls to school and give them a sponsorship. That $1,000 that goes to the girls to be able to go, there's no other extra fees or anything that goes into that. So everything is fully covered, room and board and education with that $1,000 a year.
Uniforms.
What?
The uniforms are included.
I think the
Is
uniforms get
uniforms?
passed down.
But some get passed down, but the family is asked to give an amount of money for necessities.
Mm-hmm.
So some of their learning supplies and maybe uniforms as well.
Yeah.
It's about $100 a year, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
So
that's a lot.
yeah.
You're making $300 a year.
And I think with Moja's, one of her other goals with the alumni program is girls who have graduated can also pass down their uniforms to incoming students who can't afford to buy the uniforms or the shoes that are necessary for them to go to school. So one of the other ones is someone to teach computer classes. So if you know anyone who's a little tech savvy and would be willing to teach, that can look as it is in person. We even discussed with some of the sisters that could even be Zoom. So the girls have that computer lab, but I think the skills that the teachers have maybe lack in some areas to be able to teach the girls fully how to use the computers. So if that is something that is zooming in and teaching the girls a lesson on how to use their computers, that's an option. Another thing that the sisters that we talked to were interested in was a women empowering group. So that's one of the big things that they try to instill and teach their students at Hakima. So if that looks like a group from St. Mark's going over there and teaching the girls that you can be successful as a woman. And then if that is any teachers typically have, if you feel called to teach, even if your profession isn't teaching, for like a week in the summer, because they do go to school through the summer because their school system looks different than ours. So if it is you feel called to go and teach a 1 week course to those girls. This one I'm currently kind of in the works with, is that the youth of St. Mark's being pen pals with the girls at the school. So this could be physical letters or email. So the girls all get individual email accounts. So that would be U.S. youth here at St. Mark's being in contact with those girls, and kind of what life looks like, what the education system looks like, if that's just another opportunity for education for those girls. I also think it'd be cool exposure for our youth here to be connected with life in Tanzania. And then another thing is that it was kind of a concern about new books and the curriculum changing over and them having to buy new books and if funds would be available for them. Yes, they need to be able to buy those books, but in their tuition, being able to pay for that new curriculum that the government is doing. So, do you have anything to add? So I asked Wellington and Moja, what do you want St. Mark's to know about our relationship with Hakima? So this quote is actually from Moja. So the gratitude and respect of not hearing about God's work, but seeing and being benefactors firsthand of God in action from people they have never met, but who made a conscious choice to educate young women who will forever change the lives of their families and ultimately their village. In this speech, if you picked up on it, those girls are extremely grateful for their opportunity to have an education past Kashasha. So one of the things that, making sure that the people of St. Mark's know is that those girls don't want you to think that they're letting you guys down in any way. That their education and the money that you are giving to them has a purpose, and they are extremely grateful for that. And their promise to St. Mark's is that they won't let us down. So I think that is really empowering and really impactful, that those girls don't want us to think that they're taking it for granted, and that they work very hard to be able to keep their grades up and stay enrolled in Hakima. So this, another video, is a song that the girls from Kashasha wrote themselves, which I think is pretty cool. They sang this to us when we first got there, but I think it would be a cool blessing for all of us in this space to hear the words that they had wrote for St. Mark's to hear specifically.
We are so happy to have you here. Thank you, the Lord, to let us meet. Welcome again and feel us so. We appreciate the work you do for us. May God bless you now and forever. It's hard to forget your kindness to us. All we can do is pray for you. We appreciate the work you do for us. May God bless you now and forever. It's hard to forget your kindness to us. All we can do is pray for you. You are welcome, we are taking on. We are so happy to have you here.
These are the other students that, or some of the students that go to Hakima that aren't part of Kashasha. All right, so now questions, discussion that we would like to talk about. Yes.
Did the internet get installed there?
Okay, the question is, did the internet get installed there? So the internet, are you talking about the internet project that we raised money for? So that was to get internet at Kashasha. That did get installed and is up and running. So they're waiting, I think, for the rest of the computers to get up. There's some that are there, but there's still more to come. So there is internet at Hakima. Um, that they can use to do learning on their computers. So, yeah.
Few comments. Thank you for presenting this. And I think it's very fitting that it be before Dr. King's day. A great man had a dream that all mankind be benefited basically. And here, this little part of the world, we can see how these young people can benefit the world by us learning about them and
Absolutely.
help them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you. We're going to go. Oh, you're good. Here and then here.
Yes, I have a question, two questions. Do the gals like to keep their hair short?
Great question. I believe that's just custom is keeping their hair short because everyone there has their hair short. I don't want to assume, but I would say maybe for cleanliness purposes that it's cut short. There are some girls that you can see get their hair braided, but I would say that that's probably cost money. And if they don't have money, they can't get their hair done. So the way they have their hair is, I would say, a custom for what they have.
And also, would any of these girls ever, have you known, come over to the U.S. for education and go back then?
Yes, I'm repeating the question so that the phone can hear. So education in the U.S. I don't know of any stories that we heard of the girls coming to the U.S. That was a discussion of if someone would want to sponsor the girls to come over here for 2 weeks to experience life in the States, or if it was to the point that they could have an education. Funding is kind of the question with that. We did discuss, if a family would be willing to take them in, but then the family in the States would then have to understand and agree to the financial responsibility of housing a student. I don't really know much beyond that. If you, Amy or Mike, have any thoughts?
I recall Moshe talking about it's tough to, with the education, to get them ingrained into a university. There's a lot of, not saying it can't happen, but there's a lot. Obviously, Wellington and Moshe was sponsors who come to the United States. Wellington was sponsored by his uncle, so it can be done. It just, that wasn't, we really didn't talk a lot about that, but that's.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of students, especially like at the University of Finley, that are from Africa and various places.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, probably Bowling Green as well.
Yeah.
So we sponsor 20 students every year. Are those 20 new students every year? Or that's the combined for the.
That would be the combined. So depending on the girls that test, sometimes that looks different from year to year. Or if whatever money we have to be able to sponsor those girls for their whole time there. So when we were there, I think in total there was about 30 girls that St. Mark's was either sponsoring currently or getting ready to sponsor.
So 4 to 5 new ones.
Yeah, I would say about 4 to 5 girls a year enter into the program, and then we continue sponsoring all the girls over those years that they are there.
Part of part of the goal was sponsoring the girls. Once they're enrolled in Hakima, it's to see them through graduation.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure that funding doesn't run out, so the girl is left behind partway through school. So that's part of the goal. So I want to say it's 5 or 6 new girls each year get added, depending on the testing. But the goal is to make sure they get through completion of their education.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. I think some of the girls are there for 4 years. Some of them are there for 3. I don't know if Mike or Amy, you want to speak on the how many years they're there. My understanding was that they were there for 3 or 4 years.
I think it was
4.
4.
We'll fact check that.
Yes.
Yes. So stay tuned for next week.
'Cause there's a quick thing that Mike and I last week, real quick, we were like, darn, we forgot to. You know how Jim, you talked about the internet and at the school in Kashasha, the computer lab already has their computers. The family remember does not have a lot of funds. The family of the children have already combined money and they are paying a watchman to watch over the library and those computers. That's how important that computer center is to the village. So they have already pooled their funds together to make sure that that was always a safe, secure building, so that those books and computers are well protected. So
Just a thought on the Zoom training that you're gonna do, it might be better just to focus on educating the teachers themselves, and then they could share that knowledge with the students. It might
Yeah.
be a more impactful way
Mhm.
to do those Zoom calls.
That's a good idea. I like that. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
I was fortunate enough Friday to listen to Leah's presentation about nutrition and that, and Leah helped me out. But part of that was talking about Wood County, 3 meals a day. A meal was $4, and I'm sorry. Anyways, you can fact check that. She mentioned that in Wood County, a meal for a child is like $4 and some odd cents. And last week, Mike and Amy told us $4 feeds this child for a year. So that's just eye-opening to me that we're talking one meal and they're talking a year.
Mhm.
There's something that we can do about that.
Mhm. Definitely. Thank you for making that connection.
In the primary school that mentioned shortage, is that the case in Hakima at all, or is it?
I would say yes. I wasn't talked about nearly as much as what it was talked about when we were at Kashasha, though. I don't know.
I think their concerns with Hakima is an IT teacher, and that they need nurses to actually be on the campus, because to serve 400 girls, they are looking for a nurse or a doctor. But I think that was all of the concerns as far as teacher wise that I took notes on. So.
Mhm.
It just seems like such a ripple effect with these girls now, because you just have to feel that they feel so blessed they're going to come back and pay it forward.
Mhm.
Well, that's why I think we wanted to start out with, Kashasha, and show you the school buildings, the kids, and then it's just like, oh wow, look at the sponsorship that we're doing to get some of those girls to Hakima, because I do believe that there is a night and day kind of comparison between the two, but good Lord, hopefully we can help Kashasha and continue to support that village as well. So.
Mhm.
Just a comment. I think we shouldn't lose track of the fact that we're in a really unique situation to have Wellington and Moja as a conduit for some of this work. We're not just throwing money at a problem. We're not just giving money to a non-government organization or a government organization. They come from there. Wellington is a child of this community. So he can help us to direct and the omnipotent voice from but to have those folks on the ground and to know that what we're giving and our efforts are going where they need to go. And we have, someone who has the trust of that community, and it's going to help direct those efforts in a positive way that's really going to make a difference on the ground. we're so fortunate to have that.
Yeah.
Well,
And I don't
yeah.
want to lose track of that. I mean, it's great work, and it's positive, and it's wonderful. But what a blessing to have those folks and their level of commitment
Mm-hmm.
after 30 years plus in the United States and all of the benefits and the things, for God to have touched their heart and say, I'm going back home.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not helping them because we pity them. We're helping them because we love them.
Yeah.
We want to help them make their space better, not make them like us. That's important and
Mm-hmm.
special, and we're so blessed to have that. Thank you
No,
all for your bringing this information from the ground to us so that we can better understand what we're doing on the ground and our little part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
well, and I think that's that that fine line that we just don't want to throw money at the problem. We want to make sure that we pray about it of what the good Lord's placing on our hearts to help. But Moja is very, it's just like if we do this, then it's going to be taken away from economic growth for someone that's doing that as a living in the village. So I said something about getting the new portage cups for the kids because they look like they've been through the mill and back. But then you walk through town and you see someone selling those portage cups. So it's just like, well, if we sponsor the portage cups that they were drinking out of, is that going to take away from someone that support? So yeah, so it's it's a lot of praying. It's a lot of praying. So, but yeah, it's grateful to have Moja in Wellington.
And I think too, building on that, the program that Hakima has, that 4-week crash course, specifically for the Kashasha girls who maybe weren't adequately prepared in Kashasha to go to Hakima, that they offer that program for these girls to go to be able to prepare them better for their test, to be able to qualify for Hakima. And then the accountability that both Moja and Wellington hold. Not only to, I think, those girls and their families, but also to the school themselves, to make sure that, yes, we aren't just throwing money, that they are learning something from it, and how are we equipping them to move forward, maybe without our help in some areas. So.
If they don't pass their test, do they get another chance?
Great question. I don't know. I do not know the answer to that. Amy, if you have anything, or.
What I can think of is that there's not many that don't. I mean,
Yeah.
they really succeed. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll have to circle back and.
It was interesting too. This was a government test. The other bands on the phone. The girls were testing the day we were there, and we toured the campus, toured the classrooms, met with folks. When we were getting ready to leave, a couple vehicles pulled up, and they're actually armed government officials that were collecting the test to take back the grading. So it's very serious.
Yeah.
Their I don't want to say their livelihood depends on that, but it kind of does. They prepare all their life for this exam. They can go on to future education.
In Moja's quote where she said, bettering their families, not only their life, but also their families, which I'm not sure, I wasn't here for all of your guys' talk last week, but the importance of family and family units to them. So if one of these girls graduates and goes on and gets an education, she gets a job, that is also a reflection of her family. The money that she brings in then gets distributed amongst the entire family, and that goes culturally for everyone. So Wellington was sharing, like all of his siblings help support the family, their parents. So when that quote said that to better their families truly does mean their entire family unit. So not only do they have that support from their family, but also that support then comes back into their family as well.
Grateful as the girls are, even the people over there are very grateful that keep us, remind us to be grateful for what we are.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. Very grateful.
Church has started.
Yep.
All right, so come back next week.
Next week is learning about the Evangelical Lutheran Church in Tanzania, so the ELCT, and the clinic, which is equivalent to a hospital. You'll see their version of a doctor's office next week.